Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to the gold, silver, and crypto market. I haven't spoke about them in a little while with good reasons. We'll get into the reason here in just a moment. But first, alrighty, I said this several times. When it comes to crypto markets, even gold and silver, we're looking for consistency. This kind of volatility when it comes to Bitcoin is not uncommon. It's up, it's down, and sometimes the swings are huge. Today it's down $2,083. That's a pretty big swing, but still up to around $42,742.79. Ethereum is at $2,221. Solano's at $99.58. XRP, I know there's people out there saying, look, XRP is going to be $500,000. Does it look like it's going anywhere? Even when Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptos were going up consistently, how much has XRP gone up? It didn't. 58 cents. That's where they are. It's been consistently between 58 and 61 cents. Even with the other cryptos running recently, XRP hasn't done anything at all. Cardano is at 56 cents. Dogecoin is at 8 cents. Polkadot's at $7.78. Polygon is at 85 cents. Chainlink's at $14.20. Shiba had lost to zero, but it looks like it regained at 5095. Litecoin's at $65.49. And XLM is at 12 cents. Very disappointing for most of these altcoins. Terra Luna has 3 zeros, 1 1. So it did delete its zero, but it looks like it's getting pretty close to adding it again. Look at it, just dropped. It's terrible. Saitama did delete a zero. It's at 2 zeros, 1 3, down 0.65% over the last 24 hours. But for the last 7 days, it is up 33.10%. Over the last month, it is up 35.73%. Over the last 90 days, it is up 47.84%. And over the last 6 months, it is up 68.22%. That's a pretty good run for cryptocurrency. They did delete a zero. They're at 2 zeros, 1 3. Gold is at $2,049. It did drop $23.90 per ounce. Still around $2,050 per ounce. Silver's at $23.24. It lost 71 cents, but still above the $23. Now a couple of things, announcements, I guess before we get into this video, explaining what I've said a bazillion times when it comes to BlackRock and these ETFs. Many of you know that I've been working with Money Metals for years now, and I'm grateful for that relationship. But we've decided to part ways. I'm not with Money Metals anymore. I just felt our job was to bring as much business as possible to Money Metals, and that means by any means necessary. Come to find out that's not the case. One of our listeners did take a promo code and post it on some type of advertising board or whatever it was, and it brought a bunch of business over to Money Metals, but wasn't compensated for it. And just because of this, I just felt like our agreement wasn't honored. For months, I've been struggling with it, trying to decide what I want to do. And so I've decided to cut ties with Money Metals. At the same time, I've been talking to Chris Marcus as well as Andy Shipman about Miles Franklin. What can Miles Franklin do for my listeners? Andy just told me straight out, you guys, look, we can take care of your listeners. Not only that, nobody can compete with them price-wise, which is important to me. 1, customer satisfaction. 2, what kind of prices can you give my listeners? I don't want to be sending them to places that are gouging them with high premiums. I want them to have the best deals possible so they can stack the most precious metals as possible. Andy said that's us. And so we'll work out deals for my listeners and I'll pass them on to you. So I'll be moving forward from now on with Miles Franklin. Once everything is finalized, I will let you know and share a link with you so that you could go to that link. And if you wish to go ahead and start buying precious metals over there. Now this video right here, this is Max Kaiser. Yeah, he's a Bitcoin enthusiast. But he's going to bring something to your attention that I've been speaking about now for quite some time. And that is Bitcoin and these ETFs. These ETF things are crap. All they do is take things, bundle them together, and regurgitate it and then resell it to you, repackage, trying to convince you an ETF is a good direction to go into. We have ETF gold, we have ETF silver. You hear me say, that ain't crap. It's just paper gold, paper silver. And they use those to manipulate the gold and silver market. When they started to go into the ETFs with cryptocurrencies, what did I say? This is bad. They're going to use this, the cost, to manipulate it, to screw you out of your money, basically is what it is. But Max does mention something that I've mentioned before, and that is when they put these things together, like an ETF for Bitcoin, they're going to sell more Bitcoin than what is actually available. How is that possible? How is that legal? How are they getting away with it? They do. The government is aware of it. The groups that are responsible for watching over these types of things are aware of it, and they do nothing about it. So let's get in and hear what Max has to say about the situation with Bitcoin and BlackRock.
They're one of the worst players on Wall Street. They're completely without morals. Their business model is just repackaging stocks and selling them as ETFs.
We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs.
Their ETFs own more stocks than there are stocks.
You hear that? Their ETFs hold more stocks than there are stocks. How is that even possible? How is that legal? You know, when it got exposed, you guys remember the GameStop stock and the AMC stock, they had short 114% of stocks. Let me repeat that. They shorted 114% of available stocks. What the hell? How is that possible? There's 100% of stocks and that's it. How do you get 114%? To make matters worse, when the stock was not shorting, even though they attempted to, people started making millions of dollars off this. And I'm talking about average Joe and Jones. Thanks to the group on Reddit, hedge funds were losing billions of dollars. And what did this administration do? They interfered with the market. Not only that, then you found out platforms like Robinhood also interfered with the market. So that's not capitalism, that's manipulated capitalism. They got away with it, and then they went after the people from the Wall Street Reddit. Our own politicians went after them saying, we want to know what happened. How is this possible? Why don't you go after the people who manipulated the market, the criminals who shorted 114% of available stocks? Nothing happened to them, and you got that to look forward to when it comes to cryptocurrencies.
And they charge a fee for that, and they have incredible political influence that they use to make it easier for them to game the system. They are really a plague on capitalism.
It just identifies how much money laundering there is being done in the world.
Today we have Bitcoin maximalist Max Keiser giving us an update on Bitcoin, the crypto market, and why BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is not what you think. Keiser believes BlackRock is playing a much bigger role in 2024 than any other institutional investor. And while he maintains a bullish price prediction for Bitcoin, he discusses why this is unlike anything we've seen in history. Keiser points out a massive problem with the SEC's imminent approval of the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF application, and says investors are not prepared for what's coming. Bitcoin is currently sitting just above $43,600, up over $6,300 just in the last 30 days. Keiser discusses the collapse of the fiat money system around the world, and points out that the dollar will be the last one to fall. This is where he says Bitcoin will actually show itself to be a true form of money without influence from inflation or government's continuous printing. Let's get right into the latest interview with Max Keiser as he gives us his Bitcoin price prediction and why BlackRock's game plan will actually blindside the crypto market. Don't forget, our partners at Jamie Tree Finance have launched a daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part, it's absolutely free, which will cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news that you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 5,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. Don't forget to share your thoughts and comments down below, and leave a like if you enjoy the content we do here.
Wall Street makes their money and then they sell off bits and pieces, right? Companies go public and the insiders make tons of money, and then the public can buy shares in the aftermarket, and the feast has already happened and they can buy shares. But here in this case, the feast happened by the plebs, by the people who were marginally on of society buying Bitcoin when it was $1 and $5 and $10. Now you see Wall Street coming in. So it's really a reverse of what we've seen historically with markets, in that the little guy got there first and they've made a ton of money. And now Wall Street comes in and everyone's going to make a ton more money. So yeah, BlackRock and all these other firms, Fidelity, will launch ETFs, and it'll bring in a tremendous amount of capital. And the product itself, the Bitcoin ETF, is an inferior product to owning Bitcoin outright, just like the gold ETF is an inferior product owning the gold outright, because in the gold ETF, if there's a credit problem with the custodian bank and they go bankrupt for some reason, you are, it says in the fine print that they can settle with you, the ETF owner, in cash. So you don't get gold for your gold ETF. You get paper money, which is the thing you're trying to avoid. Same thing with a Bitcoin ETF. It'll have contingencies in the prospectus that make it very much inferior to simply buying Bitcoin and putting it into cold storage and taking it out of the system. But nevertheless, it will unleash a lot of capital. And, we're going to get to a valuation of Bitcoin, which would be similar to gold. So gold is in the 10 trillion, approximately, market capitalization, the global gold stock that's traded. And Bitcoin is just under 1 trillion. So you're going to get a 10x on Bitcoin pretty quickly here. So you're talking 400,000 to compete with gold. I think we could get it on this move. You're going to get it definitely above 250,000 on this wave, on this move. Will we get to 400,000 on this without a correction? And Bitcoin corrects pretty severely every few years. Possibly. We'll have to see how it develops. But I have a feeling that because the fiat money world is collapsing so rapidly, and the model of the nation state itself is collapsing, that we could be pretty shocked on the upside in terms of where Bitcoin is going. In dollar terms, the price of Bitcoin would go higher, right? If the dollar is going down, your dollar price in Bitcoin goes up.
And that's the same with gold and silver. The difference between crypto and physical precious metals is we have it, we own it, it's in our possession. Cryptocurrency is just a digital version of money. That's it.
So we're very happy to see the dollar go down. Bitcoin is already making new all-time highs in currencies that are undergoing hyperinflation, as we see in Argentina and Venezuela and Turkey. In these places, Bitcoin is already hitting new all-time highs because their local currencies are collapsing. The dollar is it's the cleanest shirt at the laundry, right? It's a fiat money, but it's on a relative to these other fiat monies, it's the less worst option. But eventually it too will go this way of all fiat money. So fiat money is, we're at the end game for fiat money, which was like a 300-year experiment. And then in 1971, of course, we went on an all fiat money for the world when Nixon closed the gold window here in the United States. So this is all winding down. We're moving toward a post fiat money, post central bank, post nation state world.
Embracing an unyielding enthusiasm for the crypto realm, Kaiser confidently predicts that explosive growth is looming on the horizon, as BlackRock and many other crypto giants are doing just that. Kaiser reassures that a long-expected surge awaits, leading up to the highly anticipated 2024 halving event for Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race. And, I'm looking at the numbers here myself, and I'm figuring for every dollar move in gold up, you're going to get $30 to $40 in Bitcoin. So, it's a supercharged way to play the collapse of the fiat money world, which includes the dollar. The dollar is really in jeopardy. The country, the United States, is printing money just to pay the interest on the debt, just the interest, right? So that's debt monetization in a debt spiral. And the GDP is not going to suddenly go up 50x to create enough tax revenue to pay down that debt.
Yeah, but you can revalue gold to take care of that.
In fact, the GDP is shrinking. The amount of the dynamics are horrible. For the fundamentals of the U.S. dollar are terrible, and everyone who's got a portfolio, and there's about $100 trillion under management by portfolio managers around the world, and that game is basically asset allocation. You know, you're allocating your portfolio to avoid risk and get the biggest return you can. And the dollar is being downsized. People are moving out of the dollar. They're moving into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now considered to be a safe haven. It's considered to be a risk-off investment.
I don't know how they figure crypto, any crypto, let alone Bitcoin, is a safe haven. It's still in a system. It's a digital currency. It's a digital fiat dollar. A safe haven is precious metals, one that you own physically out of the system. That is a safe haven. He is banking on the idea that the government is going to agree to allow cryptocurrencies to continue. I'm not sold on that. These governments are corrupt everywhere. They're all part of this World Economic Forum movement. They will outlaw cryptocurrencies. And then if they do that, I'm just saying if, then what? If around the world they make cryptocurrencies illegal and exchanges can't sell, trade, or buy them, then what? What happens to your cryptocurrencies? What happens if they outlaw the use of cryptocurrencies in stores? You can't say, well, that can't happen. No, they can. It absolutely can. The government could shut it down altogether.
Which is incredible, because when we started back in 2011, when it was $1, it was considered to be the most speculative play in history, right? And now it's considered to be the safest asset in the world, safer than bonds. It's less volatile than bonds than in 2023, safer than the property market. Property market's collapsing. Look at all these commercial real estate deals every day. Washington, D.C., all these, New York City, you know, these huge office buildings that were bought for $300 million are going on sale for $30 million.
And then who's coming behind and buying those after they smash and collapse the value of these properties? Companies like BlackRock, Vanguard. Remember, they're part of the World Economic Forum. You remember their slogan? You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
It's like the biggest markdown in commercial real estate. It's unbelievable. And of course, that commercial real estate is the collateral that holds together all the banks that make all those loans. That's their primary business, is making real estate loans. So that means the balance sheet of all the major banks are severely impaired, which means they're going to have to get a massive bailout, which means going further into debt, which means interest rates are going to go even higher, which means the dollar is going to be continuously under attack. And nobody wants the dollar. Nobody wants the U.S. Treasury bonds. And into this mix is Bitcoin as a safe haven play. It separates money from state. It's unconfiscatable. It's cheap relative to gold.
It is not unconfiscatable. There are plenty of stories out there in which our intelligence agencies or the Secret Service have confiscated Bitcoin when they do illegal crimes. So you can't say it's not unconfiscatable. See, this is what I hate about these crypto enthusiasts. They just lie. Tell the truth. It's confiscatable.
Way cheap relative to gold, and it's cheap relative to the bond market, the global bond market. It's still incredibly cheap relative to what you could call the total addressable market, or TAM.
An ounce of gold is $2,050. One Bitcoin is what, $46,000? So how is Bitcoin cheaper than gold?
Total addressable market for Bitcoin is 400 trillion, because that's the total size of the pot of financialized assets on planet Earth. And everything on planet Earth that's traded is heading towards zero against Bitcoin, because Bitcoin becomes the global reserve standard.
The Bank of Japan, historically central to global currency dynamics, is on the brink of default, which could precipitate a global economic downturn. Max foresees a looming economic catastrophe driven by collapsing fiat money systems, rampant inflation, and bank failures. He suggests that a transition to a Bitcoin standard might be on the horizon as the world grapples with the impending crisis. He asserts that the promises made by the Federal Reserve and central banks have been hollow, leading to excessive money printing and a proliferation of poor investments. And with the aftermath of the recent inflation surge, Kaiser says this will not lead to a return to the status quo. He argues that the economy has spun out of control, with the US facing a mounting debt crisis. Kaiser presents two bleak possibilities: hyperinflation or a deflationary depression. In either scenario, the overall quality of life deteriorates. He notes the absence of viable solutions, indicating an even greater severity of the crisis. Interestingly, he points out how political figures are discussing Bitcoin as part of a potential solution, marking a shift towards a Bitcoin-centric financial framework. What do you think about the latest interview with Max Keiser? And what are your thoughts on his prediction for Bitcoin heading into 2024?
Yeah, look, Max Keiser is a smart guy. And most of what he's saying is accurate. He's not being 100% truthful about cryptocurrencies not being confiscatable. That's a lie. And that means you have to trust governments 100% in order to make cryptocurrencies work. Do you think they're going to allow that to happen? No, they're not. They're going to force us into the central bank digital currency. You're going to need something outside of the system. And what's outside of the system? Gold and silver. Period. These governments around the world can easily tackle the debt that they got themselves in just by revaluing gold. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.